Hello, I leave for ECC in 4 days. You know what I'm deciding to make? A prop. Like a genius. So here I sit on the floor in the living room. So far I have taped some pieces of paper together because I don't have anything bigger. I have Worbla, I have foam, I have more foam over here, and yeah, we're gonna see what goes. I have no idea what I'm doing. I do not have a pattern. I've never made a shield before, but I'm cosplaying Link on Friday for ECC. I'm only going Friday and Saturday, and I wanted his shield. I've wanted it for a while. I bought a pattern a couple years ago. Can't find it. Never made it. So we're just gonna roll with it. Let's see how much I get done tonight. It is currently 4:52. I have to be asleep by 9 o'clock because I have to get up for work at 5 a.m. tomorrow. So I have essentially 4 hours. The sun is going down, so the lighting will get progressively worse throughout this video. My goal is to have like the main part of it done today, and then I'll paint it tomorrow. Like I'll seal it and paint it. It did snow, so it's gonna be a little bit harder to spray paint outside. So I'll have to hand paint it. Literally just got back from Katsucon. I'm insane. Watch me suffer. This will not be a tutorial. This will be for your entertainment. You're just here to watch me suffer. So for starters, I sketched out the shield design onto my sketchbook. I found a picture on Pinterest and used that as a guide. In retrospect, this was mostly unnecessary, but I like to sketch things out before I make it, because otherwise my brain can't fully wrap itself around what I'm trying to do. I taped 4 pieces of regular printer paper together and then used that as a base for how large I wanted to make the shield. I'm a pretty small person, so it didn't have to be that large. Then, using the sketch that I had previously as well as the photo from Pinterest, I sketched out on the actual paper how big I wanted it and where everything wanted to be. Then I cut it out to use as a template. Then I took that template and cut it out on 6mm EVA foam. Then I cut it out with a pair of scissors. You could also use an Exacto knife, but I, as you can see, was doing this on the floor on fresh carpet. The carpet had literally just been installed a couple days before. And then I cut out the border so that way I could make the border. See, it fits. I was so excited. Then I took that and traced it onto some 3mm high density EVA foam. The white EVA foam was a low density EVA foam. I cut out the EVA foam using a pair of scissors yet again, but this was a little harder because the low density EVA foam was a lot easier to cut out with scissors. Then I used an Exacto knife and some cardboard and I did cut out the border shape with it. Then I heated up my EVA foam so that way it would lie flat and I could put on the border. I did use hot glue to attach these because I knew later on I was going to be covering everything in Worbla, so it didn't need to be perfect. Also, I'm using Gorilla Glue for this, Gorilla Hot Glue, which is something I absolutely swear by. Then I'm tracing on some lines so I know exactly where the placement of everything should be. These triangles were just something I easily cut out. I didn't even make a pattern for them, and then I hot glued them on using my guidelines. All right, it is now 5:55, so I think it's been an hour, and wow, my voice just decided to go. This is what I've done so far for an hour. It's not bad. Now I need to figure out how the heck I'm gonna make the little swirly things that go on the side. For the sake of sounding like a fool, I have no idea what they mean. I'm really excited to freehand paint on that dragon. I think it's a dragon. I honestly don't know. I know that this is the Triforce. I'm just exposing myself as a fake fan up here. It's fine. It's fine. I'm also like really tired. I shoveled snow today and my brain is not working. So we're calling the bit that goes here on the bottom the dragon, and then the things that go on the top snakes. I have no idea what they are. They look dumb, and now I have to try to like figure out what I'm making them out of, because I could make them out of the Worbla and I could like shape it. I have air dry foam clay. I could make it out of that, but then that'll have to dry overnight and then I could cover it with foam, and that just doesn't, or not the foam, but I can cover it with Worbla, and that just like seems like not very as time sensitive. So I think I'm going to cut it out of some more of this black 2mm EVA foam. Now I'm going over and freehanding the snake design onto the actual pattern I'd used previously that I've just essentially been cutting up. Then I took another piece of paper and traced over those so that way I could cut them out multiple times and I didn't ruin my original template more. I made 2 each of those so that way they would go on either side. Then I cut them out of the 3mm EVA foam, and then using hot glue again, I glued those on. Then came the fun process of heating up the Worbla. Please do not heat up Worbla on carpet. It's a really bad idea. Anyways, I heated up my Worbla and attached it to the foam because it does have an adhesive side, and when it's heated, you can cut it with a pair of scissors. I burnt the carpet. Luckily, my landlady wasn't really angry, but that was very, very fresh carpet. It had been installed maybe a week before. Anyways, back to the tutorial. Anyways, I sandwiched the EVA foam base between a layer of Worbla. Not that I don't absolutely love sitting on the floor in the dark alone in the house, accidentally burning the carpet, but I don't. And so here's what I have so far for the evening. Actually looks so good. What? The back is sus. It's fine though, because no one's ever gonna see it, because it'll always be, you know, shield out. I am actually really happy with the size and everything. Like I wanted it to be like a pretty little shield. Definitely some things about it that's a little bumpy, so I might take the heat gun to it tomorrow. But it's like sturdy. So I don't know how much I'll get done on this tomorrow, but I'm gonna buy some Mod Podge so that way I can fill in the like holes, because Worbla is a porous material, so I'm gonna do that. And then yeah, I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And then yeah, so I guess I'll see you tomorrow. Here I'm taking copious amounts of Mod Podge, which I've been told I pronounce weirdly, but I don't know how to pronounce it differently. I'm Canadian, I'm sorry. Anyways, I did a few layers of Mod Podge, and then I started painting on the blue paint and realized that I didn't like how that was going and decided to put on a base layer first. But then I took these googly eyes and I used those for rivets, which is an awesome, very cheap method to make rivets for cosplay. It does make a funny little sound. Anyways, I went and primed that outside with just some spray paint. I'm sorry, I can't speak. And then I covered everything in a couple layers of this blue shiny acrylic paint. I think I bought it at the dollar store, maybe Walmart. Then I took a silver acrylic paint and went over everything that needed to be silver. Also, I love how I'm doing all of this on the floor like an absolute gremlin. I'm one of the floor people. Sorry, guys. Man, I wish painting actually went that quickly. My life would be so much easier. Now you can see that I put silver underneath of the gold before I started painting the gold. The gold just didn't come out as crisp and nice if you don't use a silver base. So that's my big advice there. I made this template off screen. I completely freehanded it and mirrored it, and then I cut it out and I stippled it on, and then I took a paintbrush and fixed all of the places where things bled and cleaned up all of the edges. I think it looks really cool, actually. So this is day 2 of stuff that I've worked on. We're sitting at about 4.5, 5 hours of work. Not bad for 4.5, 5 hours of work. Is it perfect? No, but it's really cool. And when you shake it, you can hear the googly eyes in it, which is pretty fun. All that needs to get done now is I need to let it cure overnight, and then I'm gonna put a top coat of a glossy Mod Podge on top. That's what a top coat is. And then, yeah, I'll be done. Well, I've managed to capture the world at a rare sunny time, and now we're gonna, wow, that's shiny, paint the back, because it's just raw Worbla right now, so I can spray paint. Just the primer, that's all the spray paint I have, so. My house. Man, look at that filming angle. Isn't that just great? So now I'm gonna let that dry, and I'm gonna go clean my house, and we'll be back. I went over all the silver again to fill in any gaps or any fading and to really brighten it up. Then I went over everything with a top coat of Mod Podge. I tried to seal the red first so it wouldn't bleed, just in case it did, because it had a tendency to do that and I didn't want it to bleed into everything else. Then while that was kind of drying, I took my sponge brush and I just went over everything with a very generous coat of Mod Podge. Good soup. So now we need to make a way for the shield to be held. So I cut out some strips of 3mm EVA foam to use as a base, and then I heat sealed them. Now, if I had been thinking, I would have used masking tape to not paint some parts of it, because Worbla is adhesive to itself, but I don't know if it's adhesive through this, so we're gonna see what happens. I might have to like glue it, but I don't know if that's gonna work. So we're figuring things out. Using the transparency of Worbla to my advantage, I used it to cut out some squares to make the strap holders for. Then I cut those out with scissors and measured out to make sure that I could put my arm in as well as fit any other fabric I might be wearing underneath. Then I drew out where I needed those to be, and then I hot glued it on, which was kind of a bad choice. It stays, but not very nicely. And then I did manage to make the Worbla stick to the sealed Worbla. It's not great, and it sometimes wants to fall off, and I did eventually reinforce some of that with some hot glue. It works. It's not great, but it would have been a lot better had I not messed up and remembered to mask out where I needed to go. Anyways, I glued the 2 strips of thinner EVA foam together so that way I could create a thicker strap to hold on to, and then I used the same method as before to adhere it to the back of the shield. I used the edge of my scissors to define the line of the Worbla around the EVA foam. So given that I have to have the shield done by Friday, and by Friday I mean by Thursday, and it's Tuesday, I'm just kind of done with it. Like my brain is like, okay, we're done. It's sealed, it's primed, it's painted, it looks really pretty. I cleaned up all of the stuff. I can hold on to it. I'm not painting the backside of it. So anyways, we're done, and I'll go and get pretty footage of it later at the con when I'm wearing it with my costume. But for now, it is wearable. It's heavy duty enough, and yeah, I have filmed way too much for this tutorial slash, and my phone is angry at me, so I'm gonna cut this off here.